Hi guys, welcome to the Nearshoring channel where you find the most updated news on staffing. Here you will learn nearshoring from the experts. Before we go any further, don't forget to hit the subscribe and notification bell and stay current with the latest news. Hi Michael, we're glad that you took some time out of your busy schedule to sit with us and share some of your experiences with nearshoring. I'm sure this video will be of great help to many out there trying to figure out what the next step is with the new normal. According to a recent article in Reuters, the coronavirus pandemic has sped up a transition into more flexible and diverse working hours around the world. How has the pandemic affected the workers in your organization?
Well, like I say, it's the world is changing. The idea of 8 to 5 and being in the technology and blockchain industry, it's worldwide and didn't really have an 8 to 5 anyway. So, but yeah, it really kind of advanced. Everybody's at home, therefore, and you got kids you got to deal with. It really has changed it to be, for the better or worse. It has changed it to be much less structured 8 to 5, which means you really kind of need some flexibility. And, even some of our projects and things we do needed second and third shift people to be able to assist and cover those time frames.
Now, when did you guys realize that nearshoring was an option? When and why?
When and why? So I guess why, was how we got started is, we were looking at one of our companies for some additional talent in the tech space and tech support, specifically. And, we're having trouble locating and finding cream of the crop here in the States. And David, one of my partners, was aware of the idea of nearshoring. And so we started, investigating that option and started with one of our organizations, kind of branching out and expanding down to there and realized how very quickly how easy it was to kind of add and grow and economically, viable. And quickly started bringing in other organizations that, we operate that needed the extra manpower. So I don't know, several years ago, it's all a blur now, but many years ago, we became aware of it and started utilizing it. And throughout the years and even more so in the last year or so during the pandemic, have really ramped up utilizing those resources.
All right. Now, what are some of the advantages of nearshoring in your opinion?
Well, there's a lot. It definitely is a new pool of resources as well as potentially less tapped. I won't say untapped, but here in the States, competition is fierce. Even labor shortages or whatnot. That you have to pay for top talent and keep paying, and then, they move on to others. It's very tough. And that's just the natural cycle of things. But to be able to bring in, the whole worldwide aspect and the talent pool, there are a lot of smart, talented people out there that some are diamonds in the rough, some are, already working. But up until, recently, it wasn't nearly as easy and possible to bring that talent pool in, and of course they enjoy working for different companies. There's only so many different things, just like here. There's only so many different jobs and companies and roles that you can explore in our local region. It allows for a lot more possibility of expansion. So. People looking for, bigger, not bigger and better, but different. It's the collision of two.
Right. Now, how would you say the pandemic affected the company? Like, I'm sure it had to have a negative or positive impact. And how did you guys overcome that?
Well, like I say, being in a tech industry and heavily tech, with very little brick and mortar or personnel in the field, it wasn't nearly as impactful. Matter of fact, most of our staff and roles probably enjoyed it a little bit more, that they didn't have to get out of their pajamas maybe, or it shifted. You don't have to be here at 8 o'clock. Wake up at 10,
Right.
or take care of your kids, do whatever you've got to do. So I would actually say, I don't know, I guess it's maybe a personal opinion, but on the positive side, it allows you to have much more of a interaction with, you don't just have to leave and go to work and disappear and then come back. At least I personally have been able to blend a lot, for the good and the bad, blend a lot more of helping, the kids get ready in the morning, or being available for things like that, because of the flexibility is that you don't, somebody's got to take care of the kids, right? So you've already got that, and then that's just kind of an added benefit from what the pandemic kind of did for the company itself. We've in the market we're in, the pandemic, in technology, we've probably seen a growth more rapid than I would have. I don't say would have expected, but the restaurant industry probably scaled down a bit. The technology industry, I think, has scaled up a bit. The everybody's at home, everybody's mobile. Things like that, I think, have definitely impacted our business and the things that we do for the better, just for the advancement of technology.
What made you guys go with nearshoring versus maybe offshore? What are the advantages of having it be nearshored versus across the world, basically?
Well, and it's different that, to be on the same time zone is one big thing that I've noticed is the difference. And I know that, offshoring and halfway around the world, I mean, they adjust accordingly, but, you're still asking somebody, to work all the midnight hours, and their children don't get the option to go to school in the middle of the night, so it does definitely change when you're looking for somebody to work day hours, although, not be, off on the schedules, because it's tough to coordinate when you're 12 hours off. You're finishing a job, or you're finishing your shift over here and trying to line up for the next one. Or,
right.
I've had to run into working third shift hours because I'm, having to meet with them for an hour or two and show them something. One of the two of us is got to kind of give, versus you can really...
Someone's always sacrificing.
Correct. Or they're working their midnight hours or whatever, or whatever. So that's been a big difference for me. I'll also say for my personal experience is, I do think it's been a slightly different, better experience. The offshoring market has been tapped pretty hard. It's been developed for many, many years, and you kind of know what you get. Whereas, the nearshoring market, in my opinion, is a little more untapped and a little more, I've found some great diamonds in the rough versus, really having to wade through, kind of like we do here in the States, is when you start looking, you get 1,000 people show up, and it's a massive effort to try to peel it back, just because that's the way of life, right? They're all lined up, and all right, you got to work even harder to find that diamond in the rough. Whereas it may be, not as big of a market with, number of people or as defined. I have done exactly what you're looking for the past 4 years, and I'm looking for another job. That's it's not as evolved as a market, but that's a benefit in my case. We've always strived with trying to find, good people and smart people, and look, you may not understand everything, you may not have even done what we're looking to do, but I've had better luck being able to grab some talent, and they enjoy working,
So you feel like they're more eager, more willing to
they are. I don't know if it's just because, they haven't been, I don't know, corporatized or bounced around from so many jobs. And I don't know, I can't say because I haven't lived it, but that they really, I've found, enjoy the opportunity and work harder and enjoy it more. I mean, I can't make you work harder. I can't make you work as hard if you enjoy your job, as other things,
Right. So we could say on this note that your experience with your remote staff has been good.
Yeah. I've and it's been staffing. So, obviously there's an effort to try to find, and of course, being in a more specialized industry, it's not a dime a dozen, personnel out there to find, but we've had some good luck, just kind of keep looking and put the word out and feel out the available market. And like I say, I can't say that, just like any hiring situation, there have been some that have worked out and there have been some that haven't worked out.
Correct.
No bad situations, just, the way things, naturally pan out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I say, it's been great. I've got several people working for me now, doing the different roles that I needed some extra hands with. And then with some of the other organizations, that also utilize some of the services, I know they've been very happy and continue to even expand out their footprint doing so.
How has remote work impacted your communication with your team? Has it been difficult to get your point across, to communicate with them? How has it been?
I would say again, going back to the tech side, it was already pretty heavily, we would text message long before we would pick up the phone and call somebody. So it was already kind of an evolution just because of the tech. What I will say is it brought remote meetings and teleconferencing and all of that much, much more mainstream. So do you have Zoom or Google Meet or Skype or whatever? Absolutely. Which one do you want? Send me a link. It's just like, 20 years ago, it was us, give me your email address. Now it's, send me a Zoom link or whatever. And it makes sense, it's been an evolution of the rest of the non-nerds catching up with, look, you can use a technological platform to effectively communicate and collaborate. It's different and there's pros and cons, but
right.
As well as the tools develop, you had 2 or 3 decent tools that were getting started, but there's a lot of technical mumbo jumbo that goes into video and conferencing and not having it be lagged and echoed and all of that. The last year or two has really stepped up the evolution, in my opinion, of a lot of those platforms and security related to them. People could they could just jump in on your meeting and they call that Zoom bombing or whatever it was. And of course, then the industry said, maybe we should, provide some security and try to thwart that. So the platforms and the technology itself and screen sharing and collaborating, a lot of that has developed much more rapidly than it probably was because everybody kind of got forced to use it.
Tell me if this is something that's an advantage to you or what you think about it. How has your company benefited from having a bilingual team working for them? Because if you're nearshoring from the U.S., what's near is Spanish-speaking that also speak English. So has that been a benefit to you guys?
Yeah, so there's actually a couple aspects that I'd say having the options for bilingual has helped out. Some of the services we provide are help desk support type services. And of course, it's always better and easier to be able to say, well, if you need it, we do have bilingual. And, Spanish is a large population worldwide, and what I also found is, a lot of the bilingual, it's not just bilingual, I think some of the crew is like 5 or 6 languages, which mucho respect because I struggle with one. But like I say, that has been beneficial just, as a service we provide to be able to offer multilingual. The other interesting thing that I've actually found, and it's kind of been enjoyable, is, and just like myself, I guess, off of that previous comment, is a lot of people would love to learn another language, and, it's tough. And English has found its way, rightfully or wrongly, as kind of a standard. If you fly a plane, you're speaking English, so to learn English is actually been a benefit that some of my employees, or even people that we've talked to, that's an added benefit to them, is the chance to advance their English speaking skills, or even other language skills. That I was always try to be nice and be like, look, I'd love to learn a little bit of Spanish, and try to speak in something that maybe makes a little more sense. And they all are, no. I really want to learn English, and we do things to try to help that, like some of my guys can we use this platform because it'll do subtitles, and when you see the subtitles, they can record it, they can go back, they can watch it and be like, oh, that's more what that meant, so, but they're excited about that, which here in the States, nobody's excited to go into a meeting or a phone call and have a call about anything, right? A lot of the people, are, and I love doing it, I talk fast, I'm country, I've got these things, but, stop me. If you don't understand, let's slow down, I want you to understand it, and even spend some time of, this has nothing to do with work, but here's some interesting English to learn, good, bad, I don't know. That has been an interesting, I never thought about it, but a lot of people have been excited about getting to speak and work in more English versus just their native tongue.
Right, it's a learning experience for everyone. They get to learn English, they get to practice it. So, that's pretty awesome that they're pumped about that,
As I say, it's an added benefit, it's those unseen, whatever, you can't really, it's not listed on your paycheck, but, and of course not everybody may enjoy that, but I was really surprised, and like I say, love it, that no, that and it's going to help them in life, they'll be able to come to America and walk around New York City and speak fluent English if they ever decide to do that. Maybe not, but.
And you'll be able to go down to them and speak Spanish.
I like I say, I'm gonna try, but no, they would rather speak English most of the time. But and to be honest, in the technical world, it's all just garble anyway. It doesn't really matter what language you're speaking. It's all just ones and zeros. But
all right. Michael, thank you once again for taking time out of your day to help us educate our audience on nearshoring and remote staffing.
Sure thing.
Once again, thank you for taking time out of your day to help educate our audience on nearshoring and remote staffing. Well, I hope this video was helpful and gives you an idea of what to expect when nearshoring with remote staff. Until the next time,